Welcome to an express edition of the Deposition here in the Houston offices. I'm here with Senior Attorney Blake.
Hey, everybody.
So we're going to be talking about several immigration topics today. Let's jump right into it. We have several family court petitions that kind of lead into the immigration process. I know you're very involved with these things. Can you tell me about a recent situation that you had one like this?
Yeah, absolutely. So the reason why you will see immigration attorneys here at Andrew T. Thomas in a family court where I was at just a few weeks ago is that many of our clients' children qualify for something called a juvenile visa. To qualify for a juvenile visa, you actually need a first step in family court called a SAPSR petition. So when you're in family court, you ask a judge to rule that one or both of your children's parents have abandoned them. In this particular case, we had a client from Guatemala here with her 3 minor children. Their father is still in Guatemala. He does not provide financial support, and he hasn't spoken to the children in 3 years.
So the first step is obviously filing this petition in a family court. So you're going from a family judge, it's a state court. And you're getting this approved. And then once you have that in hand, what's the next step in terms of immigration?
Yeah, absolutely. So after you get your SAPSR petition approved by the family court, you then are able to file for the actual juvenile visa itself with the SIJS. That approval is actually relatively quick. The reason why is that Congress back in the early 2000s mandated that those approvals had to be within 6 months of the application. The benefit to your child is not just getting a green card eventually, but once their juvenile visa is approved, they get something called deferred action.
I think this is really important because a lot of these cases that we see, and you know this, is that the parent and these children are in immigration court a lot of times. They don't have to be to do this process, but a lot of times they are. And obviously in immigration court facing deportation. And so they are looking for relief, ways to get out of that. And this could be hugely beneficial to them in that regard, possibly even getting their case dismissed.
Absolutely. So we use these approved juvenile visas all the time to get kids out of court. And that protects them from deportation, not just because they're out of court, but that deferred action that I had mentioned earlier. That is by itself protection from deportation and would allow these children to get work permits, social security numbers, and allow them to get ready to start their life here in the United States as residents and eventual citizens.
That's great. So if you're on social media, you're a social media guy.
All the time.
All right. So if you're scrolling through, TikTok or Instagram, you come across a lot of these stories where people are, crowdfunding, raising money, GoFundMe, whatever it is, raising money for an immigration attorney because they have a family member that's been detained. And we obviously see a lot of those people in our offices that come to consultations. We have a lot of clients that are facing those things. What are some options that they would have if they're going to see an immigration attorney?
Absolutely. So first of all, definitely retaining an immigration attorney for any immigration court process is important. But if you have a family member that's detained, they do have the option of filing something called a habeas petition, which would allow them to get out of immigration detention, regardless of what an immigration judge has previously said.
So again, on social media, you see a lot of things about what's called a U visa. And obviously we have a lot of clients that are facing these situations that we've helped them with these things. Can you explain a little bit about who would qualify for a U visa and kind of what it looks like?
Yeah, absolutely. So a U visa is a fantastic tool to be able to fix your status here in the United States. You qualify for it if you are a victim of a certain qualifying crime and that you've cooperated with the police and prosecutors in the investigation of the crime.
On U visas, are there any time limits that someone needs to be concerned about?
Absolutely. So after you get your U visa certified by the police or prosecution department, you need to file your U visa within 6 months of that application. If not, your certification expires and you have to start over again.
So this can be a great process for people that maybe don't have other options. They're the victim of a crime. They've come forward. They've tried to do the right thing. And this could be a great option for them to get something filed in immigration. It could take some time, but while you're waiting, work permits, a lot of benefits come with this also.
Yeah, absolutely. You also get something called deferred action, which is protection from deportation. You do eventually get a green card through this process. It's just a great tool for people who are doing the right things. And the other nice thing about it is the U visa is such a powerful tool. It can overcome other bars to you getting immigration status.
That's a good point. I'm loath to always address these things about potential immigration reform coming because we've heard it so many times. We know there's a congresswoman in Florida, I believe, that's recently introduced something. What's the likelihood of this?
As always with any immigration reform, don't believe it until you see it. You can introduce anything you want into Congress, but immigration reform is always a long shot at best to get passed,
Especially now.
especially with this current administration.
So let's close this with a PSA a little bit. There are a lot of processes in immigration, and I know a lot of people are kind of at the end of the rope and they're searching for some hope. They're searching for something. These are legitimate processes, but you got to be very careful. And I'm specifically talking about a VAWA, the Violence Against Women's Act, what they call a T visa, sometimes U visas. What should they know about being careful here?
There are a lot of people selling you false hope these days because they know that it's a hard situation for people out there and they know that there are desperate people out there. If you have an attorney tell you that you have a VAWA or a T visa and you may be able to apply for it, I always suggest getting a second or a third opinion because you want to make sure that they're telling you the truth.
And we know this because we see them in our office. We have some of these clients. Some are in court now, in an immigration court because of these things. You can't expect that it's going to be lenient on you because you just relied on the advice of an attorney. You cannot participate in filing something that you know not to be accurate.
Exactly, because not only are there immigration consequences for this, there can even be criminal consequences for lying to the federal government.
So just be careful out there.
Absolutely.
Thank you for joining us today on The Deposition. Thank you, Blake.
Absolutely. Always good to be on.
Have a great day, everybody. God bless.